Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, friends, family, and other friendly passers-by, as we delve for the second time into the fascinating and horrifying world of House of Hell, the 10th book in the Fighting Fantasy Game Book series. Sorry, I'm getting lots of reflection now. It's a bright morning. And this is the only fighting fantasy game book that is set in a contemporary horror setting, for instance, as in Hammer horror films, which we all know and love from back in the day as well. Um, and it's got a creepy old house, it's got a dark, stormy night, it's got vampires, it's got cultists, God knows what else. Um, so, without too much further ado, I will get back into the house and see if I can escape with my life, which I didn't really do last time. And yeah, wish me luck. Uh, it's going to be one hell of a journey. Okay. Boom. Okay. So here we are. I've got my. Oh, sorry. Itchy ear. I've got my supplies ready. I've got my book, got my character sheet. It's just a blank piece of paper, but it will become a character sheet. I've got my map from last time, dice, pens, and I've also got something that would probably be very useful in this book, which is a little torch. It can do continuous, it can do signaling, and it can do red light, so you don't ruin your night vision. And it can do green light as well, so it can use for signal. Oh, it would have been very useful to have something like this, probably in a dark, stormy night. Yeah, I'll just leave that aside now. Right, so let's get started. So we got our stats, and in this one there is an extra ability score as well, because you could actually get scared to death, pretty much. So skill, stamina, luck, and fear. Your fear score is pretty much how scared or how much horror can you experience before you get too scared to do anything else. You just become a raving madman. Now, I'll just do the normal ones first. So skill 8. We'll see how we get by with that. Stamina. So that is 6 plus 12, 18. Not very good. Luck. So a bit below average today. And fear, I think that was 1 die plus 6. 7. Okay, quite low scores today, but I still don't know how important the scores are going to be in terms of surviving this game. So for now, I will keep those, and I will. Oh, and also because in the beginning of this game we don't have a weapon, which means our fighting skill is actually -3, so it's technically now 5. Yeah. Should I reroll my skill? I mean, it would just seem a shame to die in battle when there's so much else to explore and so many other ways, more interesting ways to die. I'm going to reroll my skill to 10. Okay. 10, and of course, at the moment we've got 7 because we don't have a weapon. So I think that seems fair to me. Right. Basically, the fear is it technically starts at 0 and it goes up. So when you reach 7 fear points, then you are frightened to death. So technically now it's 0 and it goes up. I don't see why they do that, because you could as easily have sort of started at 7 and go down and say, oh, when you reach 0, then you're frightened to death, because now you have to explain how it's the opposite of the others. I think that's, yeah. Anyway, principle's the same. So let's get started. Got some water because I'm going to get rather thirsty. I can feel my throat is a bit dry today. The rain spatters the windscreen relentlessly. You can see no more than a watery gloom as you strain forwards over the steering wheel to see the road ahead. Although the wipers flap valiantly, they are fighting a losing battle as the rain drives harder and harder. Your foot eases off the accelerator. The headlights struggle to light up the road. Damn, you curse the white-haired old man who sent you off along this bumpy track. Probably he meant the second turning on the left, or even a right turning. The old fool. Perhaps this is his idea of a joke. After all, didn't you notice a mischievous glint in his eye? Something vaguely sinister? But what sort of nonsense is this? So you've taken a wrong turn and got caught in a downpour in the night. The rain will ease off soon. It can't possibly keep up this deluge for long. And then you'll be able to... Watch out! You spin the wheel frantically to the left to avoid the figure who, from nowhere, shows up in the headlights. The car bumps and jolts as it bounces over the rocky roadside and thumps into a ditch. You collect your thoughts. You are unhurt, but shaken. Then you remember what has happened. The body. You must have hit the figure which appeared. There was no way you could have avoided him. You spring out of the car, praying that he is still alive. Your clothes soak up the rain as you hobble back to the road. In the darkness, it is difficult to see anything, but there is no sign of a body. You consider the situation. Are you certain that it was someone and not a trick of the light? Yes. You can remember the arms held up in fright as the car collided and the look of anguish on his face. His face. There was something familiar about that face. A man you recognized. An old man with white hair. Your heart leaps. No, impossible. With a shiver of fear, you race back to the car, jump inside, force the key into the ignition, and twist it violently. The starter coughs, splutters, and dies. You hit the key again, but this time a single shudder is all the engine can manage. You grasp the wheel with your hands and shake it desperately as if to force some life into the car. But the battery is dead. Which doesn't make any sense. Your car is certainly not budging from the ditch tonight. Your situation is hopeless, but now the plight of your car is paramount. Where can you get help? You passed a garage at Mingleford. That was some 20 miles away. As if in answer, a light appears in the distance. Someone has switched on a bedroom light. What a stroke of luck. It was at least 15 miles back that you passed the last house, and you happened to have broken down just a short distance from someone's home. You button up your coat and open the door. From outside the car you can see the building more clearly. Just ahead on the left, a drive winds up to a large house. It is a good 5 minutes walk away. And by the time you reach it, you will be drenched. How else can you call the garage? Can't afford to miss tomorrow's appointment. No, go you must. Anyway, you'll probably be able to dry off inside after phoning the garage. Slam the door, turn up your collar, and set off for the house. A flash of lightning lights it up clearly for you, but in your preoccupation with the rain, the warning from above is wasted on you. The house is old, very old, and in a shocking state of repair. The light in the window is flickering, most likely an oil lamp, certainly not electric. And you don't notice a fact that might have turned you back anyway. There is no telephone line going to the house. As you climb the steps to the front door, little do you realize what fate has in store for you. Tonight is going to be a night to remember. Now turn over. Battery dead. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the car might be dead, but the battery wouldn't be. If it were dead, that would mean you had other problems with the car before you crashed into the ditch. Anyway. You climb the creaking steps up to the front door and pause to catch your breath. Even though you ran all the way up the drive from the car, you are soaked through, probably soaked more because you ran actually. Your feet are particularly wet, judging by the number of puddles you stepped into in the dark. The drive needs a small fortune spending on repairs, but under the porch you are out of the storm and you brush the rain from your clothes before turning towards the door. The rain is still pelting down, but an eerie silence hangs in the air. No lights are on downstairs. You step back off the porch to check the upstairs window, which attracted your attention earlier. Nothing. No lights. The whole place seems to be deserted. But then you remember the time, 5 minutes to midnight. Everyone in the house has probably gone to bed. An owl hoots in the distance, which you probably wouldn't hear at all if it was pelting down with rain, by the way. And a shiver runs down your spine. The situation is a little scary. Here you are in the middle of nowhere at some strange rundown old house about to wake up whoever lives inside at midnight. They certainly won't be too pleased. But you have no choice if you are going to make your appointment tomorrow. You must reach a telephone to call for help. You step up to the front door. From the left-hand side of the house, a dull glow catches your attention. A light has been turned on. You breathe a sigh of relief. At least someone is awake. You consider your options. There is an elaborate knocker in the middle of the door and a bell pull hanging down to the right. Will you rap the door with a knocker, pull the cord, or creep around the house to investigate the light? So what did I do last time? Last time I pulled the cord, which basically has the same effect as knocking the door with a knocker. So the question is, should I creep around to investigate the light? Well, it might seem a little bit of an incongruous thing to do, considering what you're actually trying to achieve here. You're trying to get to a telephone, you see there's a light on, you might sort of want to not disturb too many people. But also you're a bit curious, aren't you? So, okay, so this time I'll go and creep around to investigate the light, just to do something different. To see what happens. Because I do like to, in these playthroughs, I like to sort of try to cover different options. Let's see. You walk from the porch round the side of the house. A light is indeed on, and it's shining through a window at the back of the building. Do you wish to go around to see if you can see anything at this window? Or would you walk up to one of the other windows along the sidewall to see whether you can enter the house without anyone knowing? That seems a bit like a terrible idea, actually. Anyway, let's see. Is my map in shot? Okay, so this is the beginning down here. My options are to go to the window, 3, 4, 5, or to see if I can sneak into the house. I'm breaking and entering in the middle of the night in the rainstorm. Does not sound like a good idea at all. I think I'd much rather be sitting in the car. Anyway, I'm going to check out the window. Maybe I'll see something horrible. The lit window is next to a back door, which leads into a kitchen. Voices are coming from the kitchen, but you cannot see anyone. Whoever is in there must be standing by the back wall, out of sight. You strain to hear what is being said. There appear to be 2 people in the kitchen, and they are talking excitedly. Master is getting ready. I'm starting to get excited. I've never been to one before. Do you really think we may be visited? Another man's voice, rather more controlled, replies, You know, I'm having doubts about this whole affair. She is so young, and she came here in all innocence. I just don't know. The 2 men walk around the kitchen, and you can see them more clearly. They are both dressed in white gowns. One is a good deal younger than the other. Do you wish to knock on the door to see whether they will let you in? Or will you wait and listen for a little longer? So, we've got... So listen or knock. 207 knock. I'll listen a little bit longer. I'm curious now. The younger man turns to the older one and angrily says, The master's teaching are not for the faint-hearted. You know of his power and his promises to us all. Perhaps you're no longer strong enough to stay with us. The older man turns away towards the window. He's hiding the look on his face, which is one of nervousness and fear. He realizes that he has said the wrong thing. No, he stammers. I'll be all right, just a momentary weakness. Come, let us get on with the preparations. Together the two men leave the kitchen, blowing out the candles on the way. You wonder what they were talking about. Now you must choose your next move. Will you try the kitchen door to see whether you can sneak inside, or go back to the front and knock on the door? So, going back to the front, it's going to 357. So that is actually the same paragraph as in the beginning. Or sneak inside. So 306. 306. Well, I don't know. I've sort of got to a point where maybe I'll just try to sneak inside. It just doesn't seem that bad right now. Anyway, for some reason, I'll try to sneak inside. The door is firmly locked. You will not enter the house this way. If you wish, you can knock at the door to try to attract the attention of the two men who were talking. If you decide to do this, you must test your luck. If you're lucky, they will hear you and come to investigate. I'm not sure. Is that being lucky? May or may not be. If you're unlucky, they're out of earshot and you will not get through this way. If you decide against knocking at the door, or if you have been unlucky, you will have to go back to the front door and either knock or pull the bell pull. So, basically, this one goes here or there. Or there is another option, of course, which is being lucky. If you test your luck, and that is going to 190. I'm still a bit curious to find out what happens if I get the attention of these guys, and whether the adventure will end really quickly or not. I'm going to knock on the door and test my luck, which is 9. I roll a 2, so I am lucky, maybe. Or maybe that is actually the most unlucky you can be, who knows. And I go to 190. You knock loudly and watch the window. A few seconds later, the two men reappear and light the candles. The older man walks towards the door. So this is 207. That is the same as knocking on the door earlier. So there's nothing different happening here. What's this? You hear the older man ask. Someone knocking at the door at this time of night. Could it be one of the brethren? I thought everyone was here. Then the two men start whispering to each other in voices too low for you to hear. You wait patiently outside in the rain until eventually the door opens and a voice asks, "Who is it?" Will you tell them about your predicament and ask to use the phone? Turn to 95. Okay, so 95. Or will you claim to be one of the brethren that you heard them talking about? Ooh, that's an interesting little twist, isn't it? So 95. Phone. 267. Brethren, okay. Now it's a little bit risky, isn't it, claiming that you're part of a secret society, because you tend to get called out really quickly. You know what? I'm gonna live dangerously in this one. I'm gonna claim to be one of the brethren and see what happens. I'm gonna live really dangerously. Okay. The door opens wide and you are invited in. We thought everyone was here already, says the older man. That's cutting it a bit fine. The others are... He pauses when he sees your face and the two men look at each other. What delayed you? You are feeling a little uneasy about the situation and mumble some excuse about your car breaking down. Your car, says the man slowly. What a shame. I hope it's not too bad. From the reaction you get the distinct impression that you have said the wrong thing. Then it dawns on you that there are no other cars around the house, although according to these two, everyone has arrived. You try desperately to think of what to say next, and you do not notice that the younger man has crept round behind you. You feel a heavy blow on the back of your head, which knocks you unconscious. Lose 4 stamina points and turn to 173. Okay, so stamina minus 4 and go to 173. Okay. Oh dear. You open your eyes. Your head is spinning, and it is some time before you are fully aware of the fact that your hands and feet are bound. The room you're in is empty, but you work out a plan. You will hop over to the window, break the glass, and use it to cut yourself free. Pulling yourself to your feet is awkward, but you manage it, and with a mixture of hops and shuffles, you arrive at the window. Outside, the wind is blowing the rain against the window panes. Will you go ahead and smash the window with your hands, something of a risky business, or will you instead test your luck? If you want to test your luck, turn to 136. If you do not wish to use your luck here, turn to 360. That's an interesting, that's actually one of the first times I've seen two things you can do with or without testing luck. But I presume if you don't use your luck, you might actually injure your hands, and of course it could be your sword hand or your fighting hand, and of course and you would lose skill, which is a terrible thing. So we've got two options. I have a feeling that maybe this paragraph here is one you can get to elsewhere in the game as well. I'm assuming that there are other ways you can get captured and bound up like this. So I'll just have to keep an eye out for other places you can do that. So I've got two options. I think I want to test my luck, actually. So I've got a luck of 8 and I rolled a 10, so I am unlucky. Oh, hang on, that's the next paragraph anyway. So 136 and 360. So use luck. And not, so 136. Were you lucky or unlucky? You were lucky. If you were lucky, you managed to escape the splintering glass without harm. If you were unlucky, the glass cut your wrist. Lose 2 stamina points. Okay, that could have been worse. So 1, 6. Oh, hang on. I forgot to remove my 4 stamina from getting knocked unconscious. So I'll go down to 12. And then you turn to 317. So 317. 317. Okay, so unlucky minus 2 stamina. Okay, so this is a slightly strange way of using luck in the game book. I mean, sort of the way it's structured paragraph-wise is a bit unusual. And slightly inconsistent with how they usually do it. Anyway, you cut yourself free and massage your wrists to get the circulation moving again. Then you walk over to the door to try it. It is not locked. You try the handle, open it a little, and look outside. Your room is on a first floor landing. Facing the door is a balustrade, and looking over the banisters, you can see the entrance hall below. To your left, there are 2 doors in the corner of the landing, which runs along to the right. If you wish to go this way, turn to 287. Looking to your right, the landing runs past another door and then turns to the left. To go this way, turn to 33. And now the question is, have I seen these locations here before? So 33 or 287. Let's see if I can find them here. Does not look like I've been there yet, which means my map is going to get completely messed up now when I manage to connect these locations with whatever else is here. Okay, so So either to the left or the right. I'm going to go to the right, I think. So I'll go, let's see, left and right. So 287 is right. And 33 left. Okay. Hang on, am I doing it right now? It's the other way around. Left is 287 and right is 33. Okay, 33. I'm going to go to the right. So I'm going to go to 33 and have a little look. A short distance further along the balcony, you arrive at the door with Azazel written on the nameplate. Oh, I remember Azazel. I've seen Azazel before. There was a place here where I could see Azazel. Okay. Okay, so that means I'm up here. 33 is not here. It says 332 though. Let's check some paragraph references here. No, that's not the one. 325. Let's see. 350. And 332 or 257. Okay, so it's a slightly different one here, because in the other one I was also given the option of going to the Mephisto room. Okay, so so I went right, and which means I get to, I'll just do a red marking now so it's easy to see where we're going. Okay, so Azazel up there, or continue to the left and follow the landing 229, and I see that is that not an option here? I'm just a bit puzzled why there are different. Is this coming from a different direction, perhaps? So let's see, 257. So maybe this is getting to the Azazel room from another direction then in that case. So that means I will also need a second paragraph here, which will be to follow the landing, so 229 landing. But I'm going to check out the Azazel room and go to 358. A door opens and you peer into the room. You quickly check that there is no one inside and are relieved to find it's empty but full of clutter. It seems to be a crude scientific laboratory of some sort. A brass telescope points through the window towards the sky. Charts and mathematical tables are pinned to the walls. A human skeleton hangs from a hook, and the bench is covered with glass vials and apparatus. They look like priceless antiques, and they were probably all made in the last century. Do you wish to investigate the room further? Turn to 117. Or would you prefer to leave? Turn to 11. So, okay, so there's not much room here for doing anything here in this room. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over here now, just to make my map a little bit more interesting. And I've got my two options, which is 117 investigate, which obviously is what I'm going to do, or leave, 11, leave. So I'm going to investigate. You step into the room and close the door behind you. A squeaking noise from one corner makes you jump, but when you walk over, you are relieved to find that the squeaking comes from 3 rats in a cage. You keep your ears peeled for sounds of visitors as you investigate the contents of the room. Do you wish to look through the drawers, examine the liquids, or look through the cupboards? So I've got 3 different options. Okay. Okay, 81 drawers, 341 liquids, or 371 cupboards. I'm going to go through the drawers, see if there's anything of interest there. In a drawer underneath the bench you find a few ornate letter openers. Perhaps they are someone's collection. You are particularly interested because they are strong and dagger-like. In fact, they could easily make dangerous weapons. You may take one of them if you wish, and as a weapon it will allow your skill score to increase to its initial value if you use it in a fight. Okay, so that is great. So my skill is now my actual 10. Now turn to 385. So, weapon, WPN, and it is possible that, this is quite common actually in these fighting fantasy books, you only get to choose one thing to examine before something happens. So that might be the only thing I get a chance to have a look at in this room. 385. Suddenly your ears prick up at the sound of footsteps coming closer. You nip into the shadows and wait. The footsteps stop outside the door and you can hear 2 voices talking. Hadn't we better ask the master's permission, one asks. Maybe you're right. And we'd better get a light for the lamps. You breathe a sigh of relief as the footsteps disappear off in the direction you approach the room. You decide it is best to leave before they return and you open the door onto the landing. The safest way to go, it strikes you, is away from the 2 visitors, who may return at any moment. If you approach this room from the left, turn to 229. If you came from the right, turn to 26. So, excuse me. So, I came from the left, didn't I? Which means that I'll continue down here. This is definitely messing up my map, so I'll do a blue line from here and going to 229. Okay, so from left. Otherwise, so that is from right. Turn to 26, which also is not on my map already. So obviously there's something else going on here. Maybe it has to do with the timeline as well. Exactly what options you get, because obviously the timeline is perhaps different now, a little bit. Actually, it wouldn't be, would it? Because it's the same paragraph there. Yeah, I still don't know exactly the geography of this. It'll be a bit tricky to find out. I suppose when I approach it from different sides, but I'll figure it out where I'm going eventually. Okay, so I'm going to 229. I don't really have another choice now. You follow the landing round until you reach another door on the right-hand side. A nameplate identifies it as the Erasmus room. Does that also sound familiar? Did I see an Erasmus room earlier? I'm not sure I did, you know. I'm not so sure I did. Balthus, Mephisto, Diabolus, Mammon, Shaitan. No, I don't think I saw an Erasmus room. If you wish to enter this room, turn to 140. Let's double check here now. I don't have 140, no. Ahead of you at the end of the passageway is another door. If you wish to go through there, turn to 332. And I do have that one, interestingly. So, which means another line up here. Going over here, 332, or I go to 140 Erasmus. I'm going to check out the Erasmus room. You grasp the handle and turn it. The door is locked and it looks so too sturdy for you to break down. Will you turn towards the door at the end of the corridor, turn to 332, or go back the way you came, carrying on past the room from which you originally appeared? Turn to 287. Okay, so that means that hang on, is that 287 there? Let's see. Sometimes I don't write my numbers so well on the things. No, that's not 287. 287. Yes, it is 287. So 287. Okay, so either 332, which is there. So that goes into this line here, or to 287 there. Maybe I'll do a black line. Okay, so like so. Let's try to make sure my map is legible now. So it's like that, coming from the Erasmus room there. Okay. So that means now I should be entirely in familiar territory here. Well, familiar-ish. You walk up to the two doors in the corner of the balcony. The one on your left is named Balthus, and the one in front of you has no name. If you wish to enter the Balthus room, turn to 299. Still haven't been in there. If you would rather go through the other door, turn to 86. That's the one I went through last time. If you choose to ignore these doors and continue around the landing, turn to 193, which is there. Okay, so the Balthus room needs checking out. The room you have entered is bare. Pinstriped wallpaper covers the wall. A hearth is set in the center of one wall, and on the mantelpiece there is a small wooden box. Curtains are pulled together along another wall, but they hang awkwardly, bulging at unnatural places. Do you wish to investigate the bulging curtains, open the box on the mantelpiece, or leave the room? So, again, I'll need to get some room now to do my options. I'm going to move over here and create my three options here, perhaps. So, for instance, like this. Okay. So we got 249 curtains. Box is 197. Box 152. Leave. Of course. Now this is a Steve Jackson book, and we know there's a Balthus in Citadel of Chaos. And in Citadel of Chaos, the thing you have to do to win, spoilers coming up, is has to do with the curtains. So I'm just wondering, is this a hint for people who've read Citadel of Chaos that they have to check out the curtains. I'm going to check out the curtains. Slowly and quietly you walk up to the curtain. There is no movement from it. You grab the left-hand curtain and fling it open. There is a full-length window behind, which is barred on the outside, but nothing is hiding there. You take hold of the other curtain, but before you can move it, the bulges you noticed come to life. Turn to 236. So 2, 3, 6. Okay. Oh my. Well, that is what I call a nasty looking zombie. That probably one of the best pictures of a zombie ever. From behind the curtain, a heavy blow hits you in the chest and knocks you backwards onto the floor. Lose 2 stamina points and 2 fear points. So we've got 2 stamina, we're down to 10, and we get 2 fear points. Still got 5 left to go there. You pick yourself up quickly and the curtain slides to one side. A human figure steps out. Its skin is a dirty green color. Its wide eyes stare at you, yet through you. Its jaw gapes open to reveal a mouth half full of rotten teeth. It wears ragged clothes, and it is advancing towards you. Resolve your fight with this zombie. So, our first battle commences. So I've got a skill of 10 and a stamina only 10 left now. It does go down quite a bit. Maybe I should have checked out the vials in the other room. Maybe one of them was a healing potion. That would have been something. Anyway, so and this guy's got 7, 6. You don't really have much. And the thing is, you don't have any means of regaining stamina immediately in this game either. Right, so battle. I've got a 3-point skill advantage, which means that if I roll 3 worse than my opponent, then I should be okay. So he rolls first 7. We add that to his 7 and get 14. I roll 4. You add that to my 10 and I get 14. And that's an equal numbers. That means it's a draw. Whoever gets the lowest number is the one who takes damage. So next round, he rolls 7. I roll 5. That means I hit him. And he takes 2 points of damage. He rolls 8. I roll 4. That means he hits me. Oh dear. He rolls 9. I roll 4. I'm down to 6 hit points. He rolls 9. I roll 8. He's down to 2. I don't want to use luck. You can use luck in battles, but it's a bit risky. He rolls 7. I roll 8, and he is dead. Well, dead again, even more dead. Whatever happens to zombies when they die. Right, so I defeat the zombie and I go to. So this is 7, 6, and 1, 1, 4. Do you wish to leave the room? Turn to 7 to 7, or investigate the box on the mantelpiece. I do want to check out the box, and I notice it's a different paragraph number now, which indicates to me if you checked out the box first, then something would happen with the zombie. So we are going to go, and also leaving is a different paragraph as well. So okay, so 77, leave. Or 40 box. So that's my win paragraph there. I'm going to check out the box. This better be good, actually. The box rattles when you touch it. There is something solid inside. You undo the catch and open the lid. Inside you find a small key. You try the key in the door and it fits. The key turns and unlocks the door, allowing you to leave the room. Was I locked in? But I wasn't locked inside this room, was I? That's a bit weird. Yeah. Actually, there's a continuity error here because if you try to leave the room after you get in, then you realize the door is locked. But I didn't even know the door was locked. So yeah, that's not ideal there. I'm gonna call that a typo actually. I'll just make a note of that because that's or continuity error. I'll just call them all typos just for simplicity's sake. Yeah, so there really needs to be another way for you to know all the way up. When you get to this point, you really should have known that the door was locked, I suppose. So maybe the best way to do it, Steve Jackson, if you're watching this, if when you enter the room, you hear the click of the door, and then you try the door and realize you're locked in. And then, of course, you get the fear point as well from being scared of what just happened, the door getting locked. So I think that's the way to go, actually. Also, I forgot to make a note of fear 2 there. Okay. So yeah, it's not very hard to do. There's a slight continuity around there. You find you are in the corner of the landing and there is an unmarked door to your left. If you wish to go through it, turn to 86. That's this one here. Okay. Straight ahead, you can see the main staircase leading downwards. If you wish to go this way, turn to 193. Where is 193? Is there. Okay, I'll just do a different color there. Okay. So we have go to the other door. That was something I saw last time, which was a hint. Okay, actually, I'm going to go there because it looks like it's important. It certainly seems like it's important, this paragraph here. So I'm going to go through the other door. The door opens into a narrow passageway which ends at the window. There is a door halfway along the left-hand side and a sign on the door identifies it as the Diabolus room. If you wish to try this door, turn to 13. If you wish to investigate the window instead, turn to 110. If you're not keen to do either and would prefer to go back through the door and continue along the landing, turn to, 193. So I'm going to check out the window. As there seems to be something interesting there. Curtains are drawn across the window, and you approach cautiously. You gingerly pat the folds in the curtain and are relieved to find nothing there. This actually makes more sense if you've been in the other room and done the curtains there, actually. Although they seem to be safe, you are still on your guard as you draw them apart. As you do so, a thunderclap booms outside and makes you jump. But you are safe. A perfectly ordinary window is uncovered. It actually seems a bit strange if you get here without having been in the zombie room there, because then why would you check the curtains? Why would you presume that there's something there? That indicates to me maybe that's the order he was writing it in. Anyway, but you are safe. A perfectly ordinary window is uncovered. However, the heavy iron bars on the outside are a little worrying. Through the window, you can see nothing but the rain running down the pane of glass, but curiously, the rain is avoiding one area. Could it be that the wind is blowing the rain away from this corner? You bend down to take a closer look. Written in the condensation which has formed on the glass is a message. You read 3 words, Modana in Abaddon. You repeat this message to yourself and then rub it off the window, in case anyone else should see it. Why would you do that? This message may be useful to you, and you will realize when it is. If later in the adventure you want to use the message, turn to reference 88. Do not turn to 88 now. Now you must head back to the landing. So we've got a letter opener, of course, as our weapon of choice. The pen might be mightier than the sword, but the letter opener is even sharper, isn't it? And then we got the Modana in Abaddon. And that is 88 is the paragraph we are going to if we ever get to use it. So I'll just make a note here, Modana in Abaddon. And of course, if you don't, the thing is, I mean, sometimes with these games, you make a map, you have knowledge that you attain that helps you through. But when it comes to items and sort of clues like this, I always, when I play them, I would never cheat and pretend I had anything like that without actually having found it. So this is a place I will make sure that I go to on every playthrough now, just until at least I know whether it's something I absolutely need or not. But it does sound really important. So I'm going to keep that circled here, and I will try to go past this place every time I play. Or at least I will keep it in mind if I get to the point where it's needed and I realize that it's definitely something that I will have to understand to win the game. So yes, I'm going to 193, and I'm also, as you can hear, losing my voice a little bit, and that is because I'm thirsty. A short distance further on, you come to the top of the main staircase, which leads downward. Immediately opposite the staircase is an unmarked door. If you wish to go downstairs, turn to 132. I haven't gone downstairs yet. Try the unmarked door, turn to 377. I have done that. Or will you continue around the landing, turn to 233. So that is the landing there. Okay, I still haven't done that. So I haven't been downstairs. I haven't gone around the landing. I did try the door, and there's some other options here I haven't been to. I met a vampire, of course. Maybe I should continue along the landing or go downstairs. Along the landing. I think I'll go along the landing. So 233. A few steps past the unmarked door is another unmarked door. If you wish to try this one, turn to 98. If you wish to ignore it and go on, turn to 374. So we've got... I know you probably need to go to the second page soon. We'll put it there. That is 98 door. Or ignore the door and go to 374. That rhymes rather well, doesn't it? Ignore door 374. Okay, 98. You open the door cautiously at first, but all you can see is darkness. So you swing it wide open. Aye! You scream out loud as a body tumbles forward on top of you. Ooh, oh my. The body is that of an old man, and judging by the expression on his face, his death was not a pleasant one. You must add 3 fear points. Ooh. I'm up to 5 now. You panic and run off round the landing. Turn to 374. So, okay, so that is fear plus 3, and that is the only thing that happens there, which means do not do this again ever. I'm marking that in bright red. And there's a picture here of this charming young man who's falling out of the cupboard. Okay, right, 374. The landing turns right and the passage branches off. You may either turn left down the passageway and past a couple of doors before turning left again, or turn right following the landing, turn to 272. So we've got... I think I need to go to a new page now. I'll have to keep this close though, because I'm still on the same floor, so I'm not here at all. So if I make 374 over here and put a PTO there, okay. And then we have the options of going either left or right. So 272 or 339. So left, right. 339. Just double checking. That's not where I've been before, is it? Go to 72. Just double checking because sometimes you sort of go in both directions, it seems. Okay. So I will go. Oh, that's 9. Okay, 39. I will go right. So go 272. I'm going to go to 272. You follow the landing round past a wooden door which bears the name Tativilus. You may try this door by turning to 155. So we've got straight ahead. The landing ends at a panelled wall and the passageway turns to the left. Follow the passage round, turn to 175. So we've got okay. Either to the Tativilus room, which is 155, or following the passage 175 passage. Tativilus. So I'm going to go to the Tativilus room and find out what's going on here. You step into the room. It is a stylish bedchamber, beautifully decorated. But one thing disturbs you immediately. The windows are barred. That shouldn't really disturb you anymore because all the windows I've seen are barred. Perhaps being so far from anywhere, they are designed to keep intruders out rather than to keep guests in. Yeah, if only. In the center of the room is a 4-poster bed. You walk over and test the mattress. It feels very comfortable. By now you are in need of a rest. Will you climb into bed or walk over to the window to take a look outside? Okay. So we got 27, look, or 231, rest. I'll take a look outside. You draw back the curtains and peer outside. The light in the room makes it difficult to see, so you pull the curtains behind you. With your face pressed against the bars, you look through the window. There is the rumble of thunder in the distance, and the rain is still beating down, making it difficult to see anything. A fork of lightning flashes down from the sky and lights up a sight which makes you cry out loud. Outside your window, dripping wet and swaying in the wind, is a ghastly face. A long dead figure, hanging in a noose, is staring at you with lifeless eyes. You step back and fling the curtains shut to hide the horrendous sight. You must add 3 fear points. And that, my friends, means that I got 8 fear points out of 7 possible, and that means that I'm scared literally to death. So we've got fear minus or plus 3 really. I'll just put in the options here before so we got options are going to 2, 3, 1, or going back to the landing. So 1, 2, 1, and go back. And that concludes my second journey into the House of Hell, where quite suitable for the theme and style of the book, I actually died of fear. So I really like this book actually. I used to say Citadel of Chaos was my favorite so far. I know not everyone likes that one so much, but I think this is becoming gradually my new favorite. It's just something about the style of it, the atmosphere. A few sort of continuity issues aside, very minor so far. So the map seems very interesting because it's a house rather than a dungeon, so it's a little bit more. Actually, it makes it harder to map out in the way that I do it. But yeah, it's a very interesting book. Very different, and I quite like it. It's got a very nice atmosphere to it, and you can feel the rain, you can feel the chill of going around in this house and trying to figure out what's going on. Um, so yeah, I think that's me for now. Actually, I don't think I've anything to add to that. I think I'll just leave you for now, and I will be back with a next episode of playing this. At some point, I will find out what's going on here, and I will find out how to sort things out. I did get some clues last time that I haven't got this time, and that is that you need to get the Chris knife to kill the Baron, the Lord, the master of the house anyway, or the master. Um, and I suppose that is what you have to do. You have to get the knife, you have to kill him, and then everything will be over and fine and dandy again, and life will go back to normal, perhaps. Um, so yeah, I also quite like how there's so much you still don't know about what's going on, and you get little snippets of information about it as you go along, and you can sort of uh, from my two playthroughs now, I'm sort of thinking, yeah, okay, there's some kind of strange secret society. They're having some strange rituals. I've seen the people in the goat skulls wearing the goat skulls, and that's pretty much all I know yet because I don't really know about the human sacrifice and things like that. So yeah, and I know there are ghosts here as well. I didn't see any this time, but I saw at least two last time. So I'm really, really looking forward. Well, no, there's a zombie. I'm really looking forward to my next playthrough, and be very exciting to see how I die next time and where I die next time in the House of Hell. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time when I'm doing my next episode of this book. So goodbye for now. Bye bye.